calendar?
Move the consent calendar.
I just have a question.
Okay,
One question on 5.4.
5.4, I wanted to pull that too. Okay, Kurt?
Me too. Thanks.
I'm sorry, who moved and seconded the consent calendar?
I would second the consent calendar except for 5.4.
Pulling 5.4? Anything else? No? Okay.
5.4 pulled by Councilman
Kurt.
Brinkman.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess, Chief, my only question was I couldn't tell whether the car that you're getting is going to have the ballistic door panel, because I see in one of the proposals they say they're deleting that option.
Yeah, they will not have the ballistic door panels.
Okay, so you're aware of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Chief, I had a question. The SUVs, and this is my own kind of person on the street take on it, are not as human scaled as the sedans. And you mentioned in the report that a lot of police departments have found that the sedans don't accommodate your equipment. Is this feedback that people are giving to the automaker, or do we imagine that there's going to be an improved model, maybe not the Crown Vic, but something else?
The Crown Vic doesn't exist anymore. Ford stopped making the Crown Vic 2 years ago. And what they've placed what Ford has entered into the market in their place is the Taurus sedan and the Explorer SUV. Those are the two that have been police pursuit rated. What we have found, we have one Taurus that we bought last year to put into our fleet. What we have found is they're just not big enough interiorly to accommodate all the equipment we put in. And my colleagues in the Bay Area are finding the same thing. And we're being forced to go to the sports utility. Chevrolet has the Impala, which is 1 cubic foot larger interiorly than the Taurus. So our hands are kind of tied. The other thing is that as the technology grows and the equipment we carry grows, the SUV provides a whole lot more space for us to carry that stuff. When you consider that right in our Crown Vics, the majority of the trunk is taken up with the radio equipment that's in there. We can't even carry our spare tires in there. At least with the rear portion of the Explorers, we have a little bit more room to carry the equipment into the field that we need.
And these are
How long is
V6s too.
the manufacturer's warranty on these cars after we buy them?
12,000 miles. I think it's 3 years or 36,000 miles. I'm sorry.
36,
I'm not sure.
So I know every year when you want to buy vehicles, I always question why the short lifespan, but that's basically so that you get rid of them, you take them out of service when the warranty is up?
We take them. The lifespan for a patrol car is 3 years, and what we recognized in what we've done in the analysis that it was is that given the 24/7 nature that the cars are in service, given the aggressive driving, I guess aggressive is not a good word, but the type of driving that those cars go through over the streets and railroad tracks and curbs and everything else that they do, they start to become more expensive maintenance-wise after 3 years than to continue their use.
And how an average patrol car accrues how many miles over the course of a year?
When we're retiring after 3 years, they're about 89 to 90,000 miles.
Okay.
And they are V6s,
They are V6s, yes.
so the gas mileage is quite a bit better.
Yes.
Move approval of the resolution.
Second.
Can I make my comments? My question is, what is the gas mileage on this? I didn't remember seeing that.
The highway rating on the Explorer is 21 miles per gallon.
But mostly we're doing
Mostly
in
city, and I would say we're probably going to average around 14 to 16 miles per gallon with it.
And the additional costs then of fuel isn't obviously we're not considering that now. And I understand that the costs of fuel have been more perhaps than was budgeted. Is that correct, in the last year? Or we've had to look at
Yes.
at the cost of fuel. How much can we take that into account as we're buying a vehicle if it's going to have that kind of mileage after 3 years? Is that just built into your operating budget to pay for the additional fuel that's needed for a lower performing car?
Actually, the SUV is a higher performing car than the Crown Vic.
Oh, really?
The Crown Vic was a V8 engine, and we probably average between 8 and 12 miles per gallon with those.
Wow. And are there any, I can imagine what your answer might be, but I'll go ahead and ask. Are there any electric or hybrid vehicles that are used by police departments?
Not in a pursuit patrol vehicle, no. We are looking at, for our unmarked fleet, the hybrid Ford Fusion at this point, and then we're looking at hybrids for our parking enforcement vehicles as well.
So maybe we can make up some of that mileage challenge. And then finally, my comment is very much along the lines, actually, of Mayor Asher's, which is that I find that an SUV gives off a certain message to the public, and because our officers are so friendly and outgoing and have service as such a high priority, I'm afraid that the SUV gives a different message than what we would like to present. And how can we mitigate that or find other ways?
Bike patrols, bring back the bike patrols.
Can you put a smiley face on the front of it, Chief?
I mean, there are some things we can do for the cars, but I think more importantly is the mindset of the officers that are in those cars, and make sure that they get out of the cars and walk the neighborhoods and greet the people, rather than hunker down inside a black and white.
Yeah.
We could look at the color schemes on it, but we did that about 20 years ago, and the black and white seems to be the more visible of all the vehicles that are out there.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of changing what the vehicles look like. I think that's fine. My final comment, and this is triggered again by what Mayor Asher said, is how do we give the input that we need a larger police vehicle that is not an SUV, and how, I don't know, understand the powers that be and how that's decided, but how could we put our 2 cents in there to make sure that that is an option future years?
We put our 2 cents in various ways. One is through the CHP, which is one of the largest purchasers of pursuit vehicles in the country. And they are letting the Ford and Chevy know that the sedans are too small. They need to come up with something better. And the SUVs, we're not real comfortable at this point with that size of vehicle. It's a different dimensions and weight distribution, and although they're pursuit rated, there's a lot of caution in driving them. So the CHP is actually taking the lead on it and working with the manufacturers to try to come up with something that will fit our needs. What we're concerned about is that all of the, not only Ford, but Chevy get out of the market, and we end up with no alternatives for it. So,
yeah, I can understand that would be a concern. Although you'd think someone would step in if there's going to be a guaranteed
There's government
stream.
contracts out
look
there.
Look at all the right. We have a reserve fund to replace vehicles.
and you would think that I couldn't give you the number of. I think somebody said, I heard the number of over 17,000 law enforcement agencies, local law enforcement agencies in the country.
Wow.
That there could be a significant number of cars bought on an annual basis, but that didn't keep them in the Crown Vic business. So
Maybe someone should call GM or someone else and let them know there's an opportunity here.
well, I don't know that GM's the best choice right now. We don't want our police cars recalled.
Let's talk to the Koreans, the Japanese. We'll find someone. No. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your thorough answers. And I think since we've expressed some of our concerns, if you have a contact at CHP or if you have some other way of indicating, what the City of Emeryville thinks, that would be very useful.
Certainly.
Great.
Yeah, I think all of that we're going through growing pains with these because the community I live in, that you see the SUVs and you have to take a double take that they're out there. So
Yeah.
I think all of us are looking at and saying we need to get back to something more traditional. That's something that people recognize and understand. So
Great. Thank you.
Chief?
With that, I'll move that item. If it,
Okay. Anyone opposed?
So who seconded it?
I did.
Okay. On to